Alright, got all of our buffs procced about 20 meters away. We need to talk about this. Okay, so I want to continue the series where I talk about weapons, especially the newer ones, because there's very little good information on it. So let's start with the Exterminator shotgun. Let's start with the bad. This mark, the slug as people call it, is terrible. It's really bad. But before I break down why it's really bad, I would like to start specifically with this blessing setup. Full bore and scatter shot is awful. Please don't use it. There's a big problem with scatter shot on this. So one, you're usually shooting into crowds like this, which means you're never going to get more than like 3 scatter shot off doing this. To really max it out, you need a big crowd that's lined up left to right to get the most value. That very rarely happens. So outside of shooting this on trash in a dedicated choke point where it's very narrow and the horde is very large, you barely get enough scatter shot for it to even be relevant. And the worst part is even when you do get scatter shot and full bore active, it's almost never enough to crit anything relevant from a good distance and actually kill them. That's the next problem. It's a sniper weapon that, like, sucks at sniping. So 15 meters away with no buffs and you have absolutely no shot of killing anything. We're lucky that we got full bore to proc right there. So let's proc full bore from 15 meters away, and oh, what do you know? It's still not enough to kill. Someone's gonna say, oh, dumbass, you're supposed to shoot the head. But, oh, hold on. See, that didn't even proc full bore. The head can actually do less damage than shooting the fucking body can. Because it's not a super narrow choke. See, like right there, we got some pellets on. We got all the pellets to hit the body and a couple to hit the head, and that's how you actually get kills with this. The problem is this game has random pellet spread, as you can see, which means you're literally putting a lot of your kills up to complete random chance. But it's so insignificant, it's not enough to matter. Anyway, like right there, I just did a point-blank shot to the head from like 7 meters away, and it wasn't even enough to kill without blessings procced. It's so inconsistent that it sucks. And if you're shooting stuff from this distance, why not use the other mark? It's better in every way. So this becomes a big problem when you consider that most specials that are really dangerous, like flamers, bombers, etc., and gunners, you're usually fighting them from about this far back. And from this far back, it doesn't matter if you crit and have all blessings active and all your class buffs, you're never getting a kill without spending like 3 shots at times. And if you're this far back, like it's Havoc 40 and there's like 30 gunners and you don't want to progress, literally better off not even shooting. It takes like 5% of your ammo to kill 1 gunner. And in case you're wondering, this problem does still sort of exist with things like flamers, like that. So imagine there's a flamer 20 meters away running in and you need 2 shots to kill it every single time and they spawn in a pack of like 3 on Havoc. Well, you only have 4 bullets in your magazine, so you can't even snipe them all before they start getting flames off. If you want to know what makes this an especially egregious problem, here's a random-ass bolt pistol. Literally a fucking random drop from an Auric mission that I got. Not even empowered, not rolled, didn't do nothing to it. And, we can, like, 930. We can do the same damage. We can do the exact same damage with this regular-ass bolt pistol, and sometimes even more. That's right. The weapon that has 25% more ammo, and it's closer to like 20. The point is the weapon that is like 20% more ammo, and literally no fall off, and perfect accuracy, also consistently does more damage than the sniper shotgun does. That makes this a really hard sell. Second off, I want to talk about this. The special shell, because it's also terrible. But let's do this first. If you do want to run this, how would you do it? Well, you should drop scatter shot for sustained fire. Sustained fire with full bore actually gives you a chance for some consistent one-shots. Not a good example. But you do need multiple targets, and you can, well, maybe if you move a little closer. Sorry, I'm really trying to find, like, a silver lining to this weapon. There we go. If you're within, you know, like, close... do you see what I mean? Even, look. You could just look for yourself. This is the actual performance of the weapon. Then you consider, in Havoc, it's even worse because everything has more HP, and it's like, oh my god, this weapon really is bad. Especially compared to the competition. But look, you can maybe sort of sometimes make it work if you proc all of your buffs and get a little bit lucky. I really wish you died just now. God, when 40% damage and standing close range with what's supposed to be a sniping weapon isn't enough to do it. Ugh, it's bleak, boys. Anyway, So I gotta take full bore off for this next demonstration, or else it's going to fuck with it. The special shell is also terrible. So let's see if the special shell even helps your DPS versus armored enemies. We need to kill this guy because, yeah, it's not going to be accurate because we've been shooting him to proc full bore. So let's just see what our DPS is regularly. 1800. And let's do a second test just to make sure that's not an outlier. Come on, die. That wasn't a very good test. Hold on. Sorry about that. There we go. 2300 DPS. So 18 to 2300 DPS. Not great. Yeah, so we can, if you, like, get a crit, 2300. Okay, now let's see what this is. 1800 to 2300 is our range. So we open with shell, and then we just go ham, and wait, we still got 1800. Okay, maybe that was just an unlucky run. Let's do this again. Okay, 2300, that's better, but still, that doesn't beat what we were getting before. Is this just not, like, lucky? What's going on here? I could have got to, like, 2000-ish if I had opened with, or if I closed out with a light attack. That was me skill issue. But do you see my point? Even against Carapace armor, the thing where brittleness is the most important thing in the game, it just isn't impactful. And let's just look. So we do 942 damage without the brittleness. Let's look at how much we do with the brittleness. This is also going to proc some damage buffs as well, and we can't help it, but 1100. So we get 200 extra damage for the brittleness. That's fucking terrible. It doesn't even, like, last their whole health bar. You know that's bad. Like, even if you're the biggest defender of this weapon, you know that sucks. So the brittleness is borderline worthless. It cannot consistently snipe anything from further back than 15 meters, even if you go out of your way to proc every damage blessing under the sun. And there's competitor weapons like the revolver and the bolt pistol that consistently one-shot anything from any distance that's relevant, I should add, and just has more ammo. I'm sorry, but this weapon is a complete failure at everything it's trying to do. And then you consider that the distance you want to be to actually get the most value out of this weapon, you can be using the other mark. Remember how we struggled to one-shot from like 7 meters away with the previous mark? Well, didn't fucking struggle with this one, and we don't even have a second 20% damage blessing going like we did on the slug shotgun. That's right. Even so like, hold on, let's just look at medium range for a second. Oh, look, it still takes 2 shots to kill. So that means, like, on average, you can expect the AoE cleave shotgun to take about the same exact number of bullets to kill from roughly the same distances. Absolutely ridiculous. It even has a slightly further back consistent, like, one-shot range. That's when you proc a blessing, but still. It's just absurd. Like, it's genuinely absurd, the difference between this. And the special shell on this is infinitely more useful. If you've got, say, 3 crushers, like, right here in a doorway, and you just pop one of these babies, well, this crusher being stunned means the other crushers are like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." They can't walk past them. They can't walk through them either. They can't go through them, and they're like, oh, the wall's here, this guy's here. Rrr, rrr. They stand there. So you get, like, a shock mine's worth of total stun time that can be used to lock down a choke point. And from a distance, you can be running back up to help your teammates for, let's say you were doing, let's say you were doing anything over here. You could be like, oh shit, just gonna shoot these guys in a choke point, stun like 2 of the crushers, and lock the choke point down without even being in the area. Yeah, this shotgun single-handedly has better fucking crowd control from 30 meters away than the entire goddamn Ogren class has right in their face. Oh my god, how and why? Okay, whatever. Sure. Anyway, if you want to run this shotgun, which is vastly superior, I highly recommend running, where is it? I recommend running either high voltage if you are going to run the 1 perk on the dog that gives your dog damage when you've, like, it's jumped on something, and that's specifically just for bosses. You can get away with Scattershot on this one, though I don't particularly like it, but Death Spitter and Sustained Fire is generally going to be the most consistently best for this, because all it really takes is like 1 shot into a crowd to get most of this going, and it stays active for quite a while, and boy is it strong, as you can see. 1900 damage on the flak head of these guys, and if I had aimed or tried to line up anything, it would have killed the Rager in 1 go. Nice miss, dumbass. So this has objectively better special ammo, more bullets in the magazine, it hits harder, it usually takes the same number of shots to kill, and it even has a little bit of extra ammo. It has 69 instead of 64. This is just an objectively better variant in every possible way. Oh, there's one other thing we can cover, actually. There's one other thing we can cover since we're here. Boss damage. So hold on. Let me just do this as well. Let me just show you the boss damage differential of these guys. So let's just do. And then look at this. So like, proc this. I completely whiffed that shot. But look at that. You're looking at almost, even with one completely whiff shot, we did almost 20% of his health in one go. Go back to Hadron. Let's change this to full bore. And then let's do the exact same thing, but with the other mark, and show you what this is like. No, Hadron, you cannot change marks of a weapon for some reason. I don't know why that's not in your wheelhouse, but maybe that's a skill set you should go back to college for, girl. Anyway, so we do almost, if I didn't whiff the first shot, we would have done basically the same damage up close. It's just why. Like, seriously, what is the advantage here? If they're going to do basically the same boss damage, the other one can end up doing a little bit more, but it's a little bit more up to RNG with pellet spread. And I will be fair to the brittleness shell. It's okay versus bosses. It's like a 7% DPS increase for your entire team against bosses for a couple seconds. So, you know, you can be somewhat useful, even like far back like this. I'll give it up. It's like not the worst thing in the game when it comes to that. But that is such a fucking niche application. I really struggle to consider that an actual positive. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say. I know this video is going to catch a lot of flack because people love this shotgun. But it truly is awful at what it's trying to be. And the biggest problem is it's not actually a slug. So, right here, look. See how that did 977 when it crit? Remember, that was a crit and it did 977. This is a body shot, and it did 1286 non-crit. That's because it's still, like, if this was a slug that did all of its damage in one hit, it would basically just be a worse revolver at that point. I digress. But it would at least have a use. You know, the fact that I can't just casually whip this thing out, that's the real problem, right? You know, let's say I'm fighting, and then, oh shit, there's a gunner that just spawned and is shooting. Okay. Oh no, it didn't kill. Boom. That is the actual use case of this shotgun 99% of the time. You know, you're fighting the horde, you're fighting. Oh no, a flamer. Dude. Ah, fuck, I didn't perfectly line it up with its body. And because of the pellet spread, it didn't die, even from like 10 meters away. Oh no, I didn't do a shot beforehand to proc full bore and the pinning fire thing or whatever. So there's no chance it kills. You just have to meet so many conditionals. And that's the thing. Even when you can make the argument to make this weapon look good, you have to go out of your way. You have to, like, proc full bore and then get the next shot going. And there you go. People love to refute me when I say this weapon is bad, and they'll show me a clip of them, like, pre-procking full bore, and then, like, procking the third and fourth salvo shot, and it's like, yeah, it will one-shot, like, flamers and shit consistently like that, but you and I both know that's not how sniper weapons work. You are fighting something, you need that thing dead immediately, you shoot, and, oh, it didn't do even half of its health. Oh, even the second follow-up shot didn't kill it because I wasn't perfectly accurate. Thank you, shotgun. Very cool. Then you look at something like the bolt pistol. Again, completely unrolled, right? Completely unrolled. Fighting, and then boom, you know, boom. There you go. Killed it way faster. Didn't have to aim, didn't have to think. Just whip it out quick and shoot. And it's okay for this to take 2 bullets to do that because it has the extra ammo, which means it picks up more ammo and gets more back from survivalists. So if it occasionally takes an extra shot sometimes, it has that luxury. Whereas a 60-shot weapon doesn't have that luxury. That's why you need to hit heads with the revolver, and that's why the revolver one-shots every gunner and every specialist with a headshot. Specifically because it has that low ammo to not get away with that occasional 2-shot. I don't know. It's just an all over the place weapon design. I don't really have much else to say. This version is pretty bad. The Cleave AoE version is pretty good because it just does so much damage. Ironically, I don't even think the shotgun is necessarily the best thing on him. I actually think the bolt pistol and the bolter are better because the bolter solves his boss damage conundrum, and the bolt pistol is just an objectively great sniper weapon. So it solves his inability to be useful at any range other than like 5 meters away, and the bolter solves his boss damage problem. The shotgun is just kind of more of a thing you're already really good at, and that you can pull it out and just be like, oh, there's 7 Ragers? Oh, 17 Ragers in a trench coat? Yeah, let me just dump 6 shots and kill them all. Cool. But it's like, whatever. Could also just drop a shock mine, or just do, like, you know, 1 heavy with your enhanced cleave to stagger all of them, and, like, cleave through them all. Anyway, I hope you have a good day.